Yeah, David Dread of Steel Pulse, and I'm saying hail to Lion Voice because it's time that the lion have its voice, have its own story. Says I'm stepping out here. Hear me now. Yeah, the lion.
So looking from that perspective, from that lens, when we see Israel declare that they are, initiating a long-term ground war with Hamas, and we know that that's the spark that there are many strings tied to. There's Hezbollah in Lebanon, which have ties to Iran. You have, other Islamic countries. We see global protests have erupted. So, we use a term Armageddon in the Rastafari community. But if there was ever a time on the earth to use these terms or to say we are in the Gideon time, are Allah and I working toward unity in reality? Are we developing plans? Or are we just in a mode of trying to tear things down? And a lot of us get into that thing. We complain, we do all of this, and everything is wrong and bop bop bop. But what are even if you join with two or three, are you putting something that's developing and building the nation? Because what will happen? We may not all agree, we may not all like each other, but if everybody's doing something, then guess what? We can connect the dots and we can move forward.
Well, Lion Voice, tell them that's the people first choice. Lion Voice, make the lioness them feel nice. Lion Voice, with the lion cubs we sacrifice. Lion Voice, got to show the people them the life. Lion Voice. Them could never conquer the mountains. Thousands of years and counting. Ethiopia rise again unto the world. Now we are announcing. Them a plan for war, we a plan for peace. And now we see them wanna go dismantle the base. When the trumpet sound and the violence cease, how we say one go build up the cities. Well, them a plan for war, we a plan for peace. And now we see them wanna go dismantle the base. Rastafari crown as the Prince of Peace. Him tell the youths them fi build up them countries. Well, solar energy that them a see. The whole city powered by the sun's energy. The road them make out of hemp and concrete. Neighborhoods full of fruit trees that taste sweet. The youths put down them guns, them harvest and a reap. The beautiful gardens will line every street. Tired of the bloodshed, them done with the beef. Not even animals feed them burn out the meat. Where people say Haile Selassie, I see Nile. When they see say him a treat the dirt like a child. Peace on earth from the banks of the Nile. That's why we giving thanks in style. Sister Babylon a weapon, them a stockpile. Babylon a wicked, kill them brother and smile. Lion, Babylon a reptile. Them a plant fish, shed blood, we got plans for the soil. Them a plan for war, we a plan for peace. And now we see them wanna go dismantle the base. When the Trump
Greetings in that divine name of His Imperial Majesty, Emperor Haile Selassie I. Glory and honor in the name of His chosen Queen, Empress Waziri Menen. My name is Kwasi Bansu, aka Dejazmatch Kwasi, aka Ras Kwasi, aka the Reading Ras, aka the Panafrican Happy Man. I'm a creative industry attorney, I'm an artist, I'm an author, I'm an actionist, and right now, I'm the host of the Lion's Voice. Welcome to the Lion Voice Network, and welcome to the Lion Voice, our flagship program here on the Lion Voice Network. We talk about things that are impactful, meaningful for the Rastafari movement. We say we are cultivating the Rastafari man to lead prosperous Rastafari future. So all topics here directed to Rastafari, but have application for all of our Pan-African family and beyond that, the global family. Because when the roots are strong, then humanity naturally is going to be stronger. So we say welcome. Tonight, we want to have a very frank reasoning discussion. I've been over the last few days catching up with the conflict in Israel and Palestine. This is a historic war that has been happening, and some dreadful imagery coming out of that region. We had war in Ukraine, we've had war ongoing in Africa, the Congo, certain places. So war has been happening, but now, of course, this grabbed the imagination of the globe because of its ties to religion, prophecy, all of these things. So it's very crucial that I educate I self right now.
And as Israel is gearing up for a ground offensive in Gaza, families of over 200 hostages are expressing fears for the safety of their loved ones. The countries whose nationals are still being held in Gaza by the Hamas and other groups are reportedly urging Israel to delay its planned ground offensive. A Times of Israel report saying that the US and several European governments are quietly pushing Israel to hold off on launching the ground invasion of Gaza. The requests coming following Hamas's release of 2 hostages. The countries fear that a ground incursion will scuttle efforts to secure more release of hostages. The Western governments also fearing that with passing time, it will be difficult to bring back the hostages. A senior diplomatic official saying the governments recognize that a ground invasion is very likely and are not telling Israel not to launch one at all, but rather to hold it off and see if diplomatic efforts can succeed. Israel says its offensive is aimed at destroying Hamas's infrastructure and has vowed to eliminate the entire terror group that rules the Strip. Hamas carried out the deadly onslaught on the 7th of October, in which 1,400 people were killed in southern Israel. More than 200 people, including foreigners, were taken hostage during the attack.
But I asked the question. I want to have a reasoning with the Lion Pride on this episode, where we ask the question, Rastafari, what are we doing? Is unity enough at this time, at this hour? What, is the vision? What is the plan collectively? Big up Tafari from St. Croix, Bingios, from the collective that they have down there dealing with the sacramental ganja, all of the wonderful works that the brethren is doing, coaching baseball. If the item have watched the Lion Talk Live, which is our program that is growing in popularity, every Thursday we go live with frontline workers from the Rastafari family globally, Pan-African family as well. I have some big interviews, surprises lined up, so that show is going to continue to develop. But our last show, big up Tafari, who spoke about the unity gathering that's happening in St. Croix.
Well, November 1st,
yes,
is the opening of the K.A.S.I. That's a Wednesday. Opening meet and greet around 7. We'll go into the lighting of the ceremony, judgment fire ceremony around 9ish, so that ones could get a taste in the early, as those that will be in the earlies could taste it said way to. At sunrise, we have a special reading of the coronation, the order of the coronation.
Okay.
That morning, later on that morning, we're expected to be on the Ras Isaiah talk show, morning show.
Okay.
That's WSTX 100.3. You could pick that up on the internet as well. So we'll be a guest on that morning show.
Thursday, November 2nd, we'll rally in again for Nyabinghi ISIS. The Friday, in the morning, we'll be at the University of the Virgin Islands. The focus is keeping the Pan-African vision alive in the 24th century.
Yes, I'm working on my presentation now. As soon forward it today, I give thanks.
And I want to big up Dr. Chinzira Kahina Davis, the professor there. She also, several years in the past, was the director of the Caribbean Cultural Center. We have done great works with her on a university level in the past as well.
Give thanks.
Enough strength to the Rastafari and the Nyabinghi house. Give thanks, Dr. Chin. So we'll have her classes sitting in with us. We'll be in 2 sessions, from 10 to 12 and 1 to 3. So I'm looking forward to that. The keynote speaker will be Ras Tafari.
Haile.
This will be his second time.
Legendary.
Yes, a great patriarch in the Pan-African movement with a long history. So we honor him, said way too. We'll do so when he comes in and show that love and respect. And like I said, this is his second time coming in with us. He came in during the COVID. That was around 2000, along with the Blue Fire Empresses.
Yes.
They came in with a couple sisters out of the Blue Fire. They came in and brought strength. Mama Waleti was one of them.
Yeah, she told I. Mighty.
Ooh, Mama Waleti, enough respect to the eye. The eyes don't just come with grace. The eye come with fire in a graceful manner. Yeah, I know. Yeah, and I saw the eye stand up in the Nyabinghi house chanting that ISIS, man. The eye didn't left the post at all. The eye stood there and chanted the ISIS straight through with I and I said, yes. Yes. I admire that. Yeah, you know.
Yes,
and she comes with intellect too.
High
intellect.
Just fire. High intellect too. That's and Dr. Waleti, you know. Just true, she don't want flex on people. But it's Dr. Waleti Beresford. Just so, you know, in case people think the thing is make believe. No, it's Doctor, you know. So mighty, we're looking forward to that tradition. So after the university, what's the full
we'll see after the university that Friday morning, we're going to take a relax.
Okay.
Relax. Get yourself.
Necessary.
Yes, necessary. Now Friday evening, around 7 p.m., we're having a Rastafari Unity reasoning.
Okay.
We have the EABIC, the Ethiopian African Black International Congress members from St. Thomas and St. Croix. They will be sitting in with us. We have the Ethiopian World Federation local number 5, the Ras Makonnen local. They will have representatives with us. We're calling in members from the Yuka Redemption Movement to come and sit in with us too. We're calling the Reggae Fraternity, man like Ras Attitude, man like Ras Batch. Sister Desiree is not on the island. And other races to come on in. But I know man like Ras Attitude, man like Ras Batch, they are part of the house.
Yes,
they're not just Nyabinghi treading in with us, but they're also members of the VIRSCC.
Okay.
So, and why we want them to full take is because in order to move Rastafari movement forward, everyone have to come to the table and bring their strength. It's collective harmony and unity.
It's true. And we are coming with some things because, you know, we started the Association of Rastafari Creatives to mobilize the artists and have a trade association so we can put some economics, infrastructure for our creative industry. So we'll be bringing that news and, you know, the artists can sign up and become part of that. So we build along the way. So we're looking forward to that unity reasoning. And then Saturday, what's the fullness on Saturday?
Saturday now, what we're going to do is have a Rastafari Family Day.
Give thanks.
Which will be a cultural event in a Pan-African spirit. So we'll have Nyabinghi drummings, and that will be in General Bodho Park in Freedom City, in Akebeka part of town.
Okay.
So enough Akebeka ones are going to be there, you know. Enough roots man gonna be there. Enough of the races gonna come out from different crevices, because as the eye can see the flyer for the cultural event, it's many artists,
Yes,
African drumming and dancing, dub poets, revolutionary speakers. So it's gonna be such a powerful day, starting from open ceremony from 5 and we run up till about 1. So we have the day.
Okay.
It's going to be sound system. So the artists then everything will be moving, no band set up, everything will be on a flow. They have a youth activity center in the earlies for the youths them, that the youths them could be engaged, and more time the youths are left out. Yeah, you know.
Yes, it's important.
So we can't do that. Let's have a youth activity center and build them as well. We're looking for youths to join the Dembaya drummers and dance group. They're looking to teach their knowledge of the skill of the drumming, the African West drumming. So these things we're looking to have some recruiting going on for young youths to join. So that will be what the Saturday looks like. A full day of cultural vibration. The Sunday now is a family day, which is called a beach day.
Yes.
Early morning for those who would like to hike and check out some serious places on the island that we may not have had a chance to do so, like Maroon Ridge, where the Maroons who ran away from the plantations and were living up in the hills in the mountains had raised children, generation. When the slaves then came up there, I mean the slave masters finally discovered where they went and trying to bring them into captivity again. And our ancestors said, no, we prefer to jump over the ridge than to be anybody's slave again. So many of them took their own lives to fly to Zion and to deal with shackles and chains. Wow. So we have the history is very, very deep and revolutionary, you know. Yeah. So when I look at it, I see we're gonna have that hike, and we could do some visit sorting spots that I think is islandful for those who would like to. And the rest of the day would be a real family beach day. Ital cooking, music, jamming. If the DJ them used to come with tracks and nice it up on the beach again, we nice it up on the beach again. Volleyball, chess.
Hold on a second, games. Because they requested the Dejazmatch K.A.S.I to come light a fire up on the stage, you know. And
yes,
yeah. So I don't want to skip over that part there. And I'm coming ready, fully loaded with musical vibration. Big Up is my first international engagement. I'm going to be filming it. We'll play it here on the Lion Voice. So that's why I say, if you haven't subscribed, make sure you subscribe. Rasta Business from Martuisha said 20 views and only 10 likes. Push the like button for this live, because that's how you build the algorithm, you know. That's how you send out the content to more ones. So push the like button, subscribe to the channel. As you can see, we're bringing frontline workers in Rastafari and giving them a voice, because the time has come for the Lions to tell their story.
Lion Voice Network will be there. The family in St. Croix, they booked I and I to come there for a multitude of reasons. So I and I will be there in St. Croix live. We will be filming for the Lion Voice, and this question of unity. There will be a unity gathering in the context of what is happening globally. We're just coming out of a global pandemic. You could call it a plague. You could, global lockdown. Everybody was in their premises, restricted movement. Flights were restricted for a time. You had to have certain levels of identification to move around, or vaccine, or whatever it was. So we're seeing different signs and wonders, and a lot of I&I's become very popular. One's born the Bible, so the biblical prophecy that speaks about the revelation time. A lot of ones We know that they're not really taking that in. However, for those who keep an eye on it, His Majesty gave instruction to look to the Bible, as a guide. So we've done that consistently from I were young Rasses, I came into this movement through the teachings of His Majesty, from the start, the autobiography, the selected speeches. So anything His Majesty said, we stay right there. So regardless of the noise that's happening around and what's trending and what's popular, because we stick to the source. So looking from that perspective, from that lens, when we see Israel declare that they are, initiating a long-term ground war with Hamas, and we know that that's the spark that there are many strings tied to. There's Hezbollah in Lebanon, which have ties to Iran. You have, other Islamic countries. We see global protests have erupted. So, we use a term Armageddon in the Rastafari community. But if there was ever a time on the earth to use these terms or to say we are in the Gideon time, the cost of living, inflation, sky high, one's losing employment, is a rough time, you know, I really see man hang out. At least where we are, there's not too much gathering or one people are hustling, trying to make ends meet, trying to earn extra income, doing things. Those of us who can traveling to the continent, putting plans in place, implementing plans in place. So in the context of all of this, we ask the question, about the unity, because we keep hearing about unity. And there are several initiatives that are happening. But the question is, are they enough? Are they happening fast enough? Because to achieve that alternative to Babylon before the complete collapse of the global structure, are we on pace to do that? Are we looking at that? Are we just saying we have the faith and things are gonna happen as they happen, and we're just fulfilling what we're fulfilling? Or do we need a little bit of urgency in our movement? Do we need to wake up and move a little bit quicker? These are the questions I ask I myself. These are the questions I ask brethren and sisters when I interact with, because I personally, this is the Dejazmatch Kwasi now. I feel that Rastafari people need to wake up. I think enough of us are still slumbering, particularly in the Caribbean, to some extent Africa, but the global family of Rastafari, I think we're still slumbering. I know the potential that we possess in terms of being able to transform, because I see with my eyes what Rastafari has achieved over the years while under great persecution, what the elders were able to establish globally. Now I'm on generation, the generation of them that seek His face. I that were even born after His Majesty disappear physically from creation. How are we contributing to the legacy collectively? Individually, man, I do them thing. We're not talking about individually, because everybody, get paid according to their own work. But we're asking collectively, are we moving diligently to create a formation that will ensure food and water security for Rastafari family, that ensures that we have institutions that are carrying out the Rastafari creed for our age, for our youth, for those in need? Do we have that infrastructure either locally or globally? Now, this channel was created to point out that this work is happening. So I don't want people to put us in the classification of the complainers and the critics and the criticizers who sit down and not really do nothing. No. This channel was created specifically to help to change and to shape the narrative as we trod into Africa and as we trod into repatriation. We wanted to highlight those people who have done work, who are doing work, the achievements that Rastafari has achieved. We had Sister Nanny from the Coral Garden Benevolent Society. I've been putting the clips. You can see what the Rastafari Coral Gardens achieve.
In comes the Rastafari Coral Garden Benevolent Society to address this atrocity. Give us the history. How did the Rastafari Coral Garden Benevolent Society form? And then we'll talk about the battle that they waged against the government to get some type of recognition and apology.
All right. So the Rastafari Coral Gardens Benevolent Society is a development out of the first you had an agitation committee. All right. Mm-hmm. And there are brethren who are around still and some are not still who were part of that agitation committee. Right. Junior Manning is always singled out as a person who J, yes, who was behind the agitation for the government to give some kind of redress, and so then after some years.
Was this coming out to the Nyabinghi House, this committee, or was it?
Yes, because Junior Manning was a Nyabinghi representative. And,
I knew
most
Junior
of the Nyabinghi brethren were part of that movement in the agitation committee. Yes. Okay. And then you had then after Junior Manning passed. And you get a little bit a slowing down of activities, then a reorganization again, and the Coral Gardens, the Rastafari Coral Gardens Committee was formed. Now, so we're looking at from the 90s coming up. There are different groups of brethren have been agitating for the government to redress, do something to really. Compensate for what took place.
Yes.
Because it was a state-ordered persecution.
Persecution, of course.
Yes. And so then the Rastafari Coral Gardens Committee came about, and I became a member of the committee in 2013.
Okay.
And we, at that time, we were meeting at the Nyabinghi Center. And then we started to discuss that we needed to register an organization that would be recognized by the government, and so that the government would take us more seriously when we try to represent on behalf of the community. So we went through a series of discussions. We went through a draft constitution for the organization, and we tried to. We had extensive discussion to see what form the registration should take place, until we eventually decided that it would be a benevolent society because of the work that we're doing, the welfare work that we have been doing over the time, where every year we would assist the elders in the community. After every commemoration event, we would try to put together a package for the survivors, and we would do whatever assistance we have that we are capable of in terms of our limited finances.
Okay.
So we decided that it would be a welfare organization that we would register. And so we registered as Rastafari Coral Garden Benevolent Society in 2015.
Okay.
So we started to work more assiduously now at getting a public defender report, because the public defenders, different public defenders from the time of the first public defender, they have been always been approached trying to get that office involved. Some of these survivors even went to the office on their own and gave their own statements. But in 2015 now, between 2013 and 2015, the organization Rastafari the Rastafari, the committee, all right, put on the commemoration, and they invited the then public defender Witter, and he
Yes.
came and addressed the organization, the gathering, and really impressed upon the agitation, the committee, that it is important to get as many statements from survivors as possible. So Bongo Joe, Ras IV, and many more, Ras Ige, Ras Flacco, all those persons who were working in that early movement, that early part of the movement, they mobilized the the survivors, and the Office of the Public Defender sent down investigators to the Nyabingi Center, and they were interviewed, and their statements were recorded at that time, right?
Yes.
It is based upon those statements now that the Benevolent Society, at that the stage where we were registered as a Benevolent Society, we started now to press for the public defender to put out a report based upon the statements that they have received.
Yes.
And that took us a couple of years, and then in 2015, the Office of the Public Defender put out a report finally, and we say, okay, good. Now that we have a public defender's report, which is supporting all that the survivors, after their investigations, they have supported what the survivors were saying, and they realized that the atrocities were indeed committed against innocent people who had nothing to do with the incident in 1963.
Yes.
And their lives have been disrupted, and they need to be compensated. And even, so the public defenders made some strong recommendations that the government should apologize, that cash compensation should be paid to the living survivors and their offspring, and reparations should also be given to the community. And the public defender recommended that as part of community reparations, a museum, because we had recommended that,
Okay.
right, that a museum be set up for preservation of our history. And the public defender's report also recommended that ganja be made whenever the ganja laws were fully freed up, that the Rastafari community should have access to a free license, and that the government should assist a Rastafari cooperative to produce ganja and even export ganja, right? So those were the recommendations, in summary, really, of the public defender. So having had the public defender's report in hand now, we now started to get even more serious on the agitation for the government to apologize.
Okay.
And so we conducted marches, rallies, radio and television interviews, and every time the commemoration is coming around, then the public would be public education drives. We had public meetings in different parishes, and all towards pressuring for an apology and for compensation to be paid to the survivors and reparations to the community.
Mighty. So, all over aeration works are happening in different sectors and segments, but the coming together, that's why we give thanks for all of the coming together initiatives and movements as they are happening around creation. We still have ones out there fighting unification movements. I'm asking my brethren and sisters to really look deep in themselves and see how they're spending their time. Are they spending their time fighting something, or are they building something? Because right now, family, make sure majority of your time is spent building something, because I tell you them rough times are ahead, And, those who work together are going to have a much better chance to survive what is to come. Don't feel for a second, because remember the stage is set. Just let me give some context for what could happen potentially. We look at the Middle East, according to many within the Jewish tradition, they're still waiting for their Messiah. Let's talk about that. Um, that Messiah is also the same Messiah that many fundamentalist Christians are waiting for, Yeshua. The Christians would say Jesus that returned. But for many of them, he will only return when the third temple of Solomon is built. If the temple of Solomon is rebuilt. Here the problem that they have now. The problem is that the Al-Aqsa Mosque, which is the holiest site in Islam, or second holiest site in Islam behind Mecca and Medina, is right there in Jerusalem, the place where the Prophet Muhammad ascended into the heavens, marked by that spot where the Temple of Solomon was. Remember, all of the Hebrew patriots are also patriots in the Islamic faith. So Solomon would become Suleiman. You have, so there's this overlap in the Abrahamic religion. So, for them to rebuild that third Temple of Solomon to set the stage for this Messiah, that temple is an impediment. They can't just lick down the temple. They need a pretext. And this is the extreme on both sides that we're talking about. Probably most Israelis today are secular Israelis. Go party at Tel Aviv and them something they saw. But they're extreme. And the thing that we also have to remember, many of these extremists are getting up in age. The baby boomers who were around when His Majesty walked the earth and was coming to the countries and a chad earth, for the disappearance. Many of them are up in age and failing in health. They want to see things activate before them trod. These extremists who hold the power. So, you see, even with the Hamas incursion, which was planned, they say, for 2 years, land, sky, and sea, them and them come down upon Israel, kill estimated 1,400 people. So, the blood, because, big things in history are often cast in blood, the blood sacrifice, you understand? So, we have to look at these things metaphysically and see what's happening as well. Israel answer back and blood are shed. So when this amount of blood are shed, and I said rising up the global firestorm is like an ant's nest, because Hamas has also been preparing for this ground invasion. It's going to pull in other nations, countries, Iranian-centric, this and that. So it's a whole heap of things going to happen, family. This is going to cause restriction on shipping, food shortage. And again, we ask, are we ready? Are we prepared as Rastafari? I'm looking forward to chatting down into St. Croix to reason with the family and see how we can connect the dots, put things together. And I'm asking, again, Lion Pride, wherever you are, Rastafari family, this is the time we talk about organized and centralized. Join an organization, join an institution. I have several. The item can join, send me a message, tapping on the ecosystem, whether it's a comment somewhere. If you want to be active right now, because this is actionist time, don't just sit in your house and be a victim waiting for others to decide your destiny. Connect with your brethren and sistren who are active, so we can make some things happen. We have our study group. We study the teachings of His Majesty. And one thing that we see in the study of the teachings is that His Majesty had a vision for Africa that has still not yet been fulfilled. And Africa as a light to the rest of the world, to bring in this global peace and serenity, the foundation, the root. And from a scientific perspective, it's proven that Africa is the root of humanity, the most genetic diversity of any place on earth. more genetic diversity within the African continent than exists outside the continent. So we know, say, a mama that. So what we are seeing is that mission, you know, which I do, you know, called Ras mean head. So Rastafari, our mission is to fulfill the teachings of His Imperial Majesty, to be that light, to embody, you know, the man, you know, the empress, the emperor, the empress, to exemplify the emperor, the empress on the earth. You know, His Majesty said the time when the sovereign alone would shoulder the responsibility as you know, is over. On another speech, he said, you know, the sacrifice of Yeshua, the hearts of man become the temple of the Most High. So I now become the temple of the Most High, which we say is Haile Selassie the first. So would the living temple mean fulfilling of that work, meaning the unification, economic strengthening, turn to agriculture, you know, big up, you know, those who are working on the food and water security. We are actively working in these areas. Different Rastafari organs are working in these areas. Big up the farmers, you know. Association of Rastafari Creatives have declared that farmers are creatives. You know, the Rastafari farmer and just farmers in general are creative. They're finding creative ways to grow food. They are artisans on the landscape. How they plow their fields, how they, you know, do their rows, how they beautify the countryside, permaculture, choosing the plants that work synergistically. That's an art, you know. So big up the farmer, the artistry of the farmer right now. I say as part of your network, you know, as part of the Rastafari farm army, I say as part of the Rastafari man standard that everyone who tried in Rastafari or said they're a Dejazmatch or a Ras or taking on any titles, Negos, anything, you should have a network of farmers within that network. You should know some farmers, you know, that have to be part of your livity and your chat, where you know some man will grow the food that you consume, or you can connect in with farmers who grow food, because when times get dread, these are the people you're going to want around, you know. Again, I re-emphasize, we are in dreadful times by any estimation. The economic projections is that there's a recession coming to the United States next year, 2024. Again, war. Israel has declared that they are declaring war on Hamas, and they are preparing for a prolonged ground war offensive. They're going house by house, down into the tunnels, down into the depths of the Gaza. It's going to be a bloody warfare that is going to ignite the passion around the world. Still, you know, COVID still a run up and down out there. We might have other infectious disease released on the population, plagues. Revelation talks about the angels with the plagues and the vials releasing the plagues upon the earth. You might not deal with them thing there, but when you look on COVID and it create a Wuhan, China, potentially, allegedly, it spill out upon the earth, things happen, this happen. We're looking at these things, you know what I mean? Correlation, maybe. However, the fact remains that I have work to do, and unity is the accepted goal, His Majesty said that. So I really want us to think about, you know, when we use these terms, because every Ras would tell you, say unity is, you know, the accepted goal. Every Ras will say we need unity. But if you look at the actions of all I, we have to be honest. Are all I working toward unity in reality? Are we developing plans? Or are we just in a mode of trying to tear things down? You know? And a lot of us get into that thing. We complain, we do all of this, and everything is wrong, and bop, bop, bop. but what are the, even if you join with two or three, are you putting something that's developing and building the nation? Because what will happen? We may not all agree, we may not all like each other, but if everybody's doing something, then guess what? We can connect the dots and we can move forward in strength because there's so much work to do. There's work for everyone. So we don't have to try to be selfish with this work. So I really, again, just wanted to come and to reason on the unity, and that unity does not mean uniformity. Um, again, the thoughts, our hearts go out to the victims on both sides of this Israel and Palestine conflict. Our hearts go to the innocent blood that is shedding in the Congo, in Chad, in Mali, in Cameroon, parts of Nigeria. There's been war, Yemen, uh, Afghanistan, Somalia, Iraq, Syria. This has been unfolding for a while. If you have eyes to see, the war demons unleashed upon the earth, trying to really embroil humanity in this massive blood sacrifice. However, again, the evil shall slay the wicked, the rebellious shall dwell in a dry land. We, as the Rastafari community, time to wake up, rise and shine. Ethiopia, the time has come for us to come together and really do all the things we sing about, all of the things that we say. And like I say, I give thanks. We have this platform that we're building now that's going to show that uprising, that's going to document that uprising, because that's also critical. We need to document. I have over 20 years of work within the Rastafari community that is not documented, and I don't feel good about it, because we used to burn camera, we used to burn all of these things, as youth, young Rastafari brethren, we not do it for no hype, and we militant. But as you grow older now, you say, boy, that would have nice now if we could have that footage that we could be showing the younger youths what we were doing at their age, Would love to see footage of I and I as a young Ras. Big up again, Tafari. I didn't even know that we know the brethren from long time, because he was chatting with the Atlanta Bingios, and when I was at Howard University, book up, once them came up here, chanted ISIS together. So, but we don't have no footage, the Enlightenment reasoning, big up Bingi Sean, who really spearheaded that, as the president of the Ethiopian Rastafari community at Howard University. I was the vice president at the time. And we put together the Enlightenment reasoning, which was one of the biggest Rastafari gathering in Washington, D.C. History. We flew in ones from England, from all over creation came. Massive gathering, and the brethren Tafari was there. So from them time they and from them time that we were talking about unity, and that's over 20 years ago that took place. That Enlightenment Reason, I think, was 1999. So again, we talk about this term unity. I'm putting forward in the face of this war in the Middle East, in the face of the war in the Ukraine. We're not talking about China and Taiwan when China get ready for go step in at Taiwan and people said this and that, how volatile the global landscape is right now. So when we talk about this unity and this unification, how diligent are we being as Rastafari family? How, is there any sense of urgency, or is everything airy and we just taking our time? I'm going to be honest. COVID caught us off guard because most of the Ras we me know did still have to go grocery store, never have them things store up. And so if that grocery store say you have to take the mark of the beast, everybody would have get chopped right there. So, Those of us who could, we can probably drive south and link up with a farm of brethren them and sistering, and be okay. But most of us would have get chopped right so in the northern region. You know what I mean? Whole heap of Ras is in New York or Old York. I know they would have been in problems. So are we ready, family? And I know that, give thanks, we're over 1,875 at the time of taping this. Big up the Lion Pride. Big up the Lion Pride on Patreon. Again, are we ready? I'm trying to build this platform to be able to highlight, to connect the dots, to inform us our human resources that we have out there. So the different programs exposing people to the works that's happening so that we don't feel despair in this dreadful time, that we know that works have been going on and victories have been won. And requesting the family supporting the Patreon, $10 a month, only three ones have put the support there to our Rastafari family, one just assisting. So I'm asking the Rastafari family today, go into the Patreon and support $10. I'm trying to get 1,000 people in that Patreon by Ethiopia next year. So we can stabilize, we can buy better cameras, buy better lighting. I can go to the different Rastafari places again and do that work of highlighting what's happening, connecting the dots. We want to make extensive travel in Africa to show some of the work that's happening there. Inspire. We have to inspire our young people to greatness right now, and the only way we can do it is by showing. The talk is not going to work, and we know that, family, because we lose so many second generation Rastafari. So we're going to need to be able to go and show, and that's what this platform is being built to do. We want to get into animation. We want to we want to build a full production studio on the continent to pump out content for Rastafari. But, that's going to be exciting for the whole Pan-African family. And then by extension for humanity. Look at a movie like Black Panther, what it did, it had a Pan-African type of messaging, superhero, this, that. We can create that type of content for our youth. We don't have to wait for Walt Disney to give us one. And they had little things in there where we wouldn't have in our type of movie that, builds that strength. So support the platform, family. It starts as a sound. It starts as a vision, it's uttered as a sound, put it into action, manifestation. From zero now, again, we have 1,800 plus, 1,875 plus. We're headed toward 1,900. We're trying to hit 2,000 before November 1st. We have that plus in the Lion Pride, starting from a thought, that became a vision, a prayer. And we're building the platform. So help us to further manifest with the capital that will allow us to employ people and really step up the platform. Again, go over to the Patreon, $5, $10 a month. I'm not asking any individual to shoulder this channel again. That's why we give thanks. We're in the era. As a content creator, I say it's the greatest era ever. Where we can go direct to the consumer. So the little nickel make a mucker. We can build massive amounts of capital by getting small amounts from a large cross section of one. So if you're part of the Lion Pride, consider stepping up the support by going to the Patreon. If you are part of the Rastafari family and you've really been full enjoying the interviews, the on location footage, the reasoning, then go to the Patreon. Again, Gideon, we need the capital so that we can accelerate the development. So we give thanks for the 3 fire angels that are in there and the 2 that left too, because some people came in and they left, but we overstand sometimes your pocket weak and you have to, but we give thanks for the time that they were there. It was mighty strength. And if you come in, you can come out, come in when you can. I don't mind that either, because I understand we are in those Armageddon time, and financially sometimes we don't have it. We have to make choices. But if you can, give that that $10 a month, and you know that, yeah man, I'm riding with the Reading Rasta, and we're pushing the platform because I love the type of content that is pushing through the building of Zion. We don't hear these conversations anywhere in terms of what we're actually building toward. We're not just history. We're not just the complaints and the problems. We're talking about what we're building toward. What does this new heaven on earth look like? What technologies are being used? What are we retaining? That is what this channel is about. Future. And also building the character of the Rastafari man, importantly, so that we have strong brethren. A lot of I didn't grow up with fathers. I was blessed to grow up with my father. I can call him right now, get a lecture right now. He would tell me, you need to do this, but. And that's invaluable for a brethren. Enough brethren never have that. We're providing that here for brethren around the world to know what the standard is. You call yourself a Rastafari man. We want to put in some standard. This is not the loosey-goosey hour. So again, give thanks, but we go forward again, everything, because if we're building the individual, it's to unify with other like-minded individuals, which brings us forward to this topic of unity. And what does this look like? And we're asking the question, are we prepared? I know that the Rastafari family has been tuning in. So I'm asking the family, and give thanks for everyone who's been tuning in and supporting the content within the Rastafari family, because I'm getting the messages, I'm reading it with one. Once a year, man, we're watching it, So I'm asking the family, are we prepared? Are we moving at a pace that's going to allow us to be ready for the next global shutdown, which is it's imminent. There's no question that it's happening. And it's going to be more successively dread as these wars escalate. They're not going to stop, family. So, again, as we come and we chant unity, we chant Nayabing, we chant Bobo Shanti, we have dances within the 12 tribe family, are we moving at a pace that's going to have us prepared for what is to come? I asked this question because I don't want European outlet come and interview the Rastafari community and ask me these questions. You know why? Why? Because the time has come for the lions to tell our own story. And this is the Lion Voice.
Lion Voice. Them could never conquer the mountains. Thousands of years and counting. Ethiopia rise again unto the world. Now we are announcing. Them a plan for war, we a plan for peace. And now we see them wanna go dismantle the base. When the trumpet sound and the violence cease, how we say one go build up the cities. Well, them a plan for war, we a plan for peace. And now we see them wanna go dismantle the base. Rastafari crown as the Prince of Peace. Him tell the youths them fi build up them countries. Well, solar energy that them a see. The whole city powered by the sun's energy. The road them make out the hemp and concrete. Neighborhoods full of fruit trees that taste sweet. The youths put down them guns, them harvest and a reap. The beautiful gardens will line every street. Tired of the bloodshed, them done with the beef. Not even animals for that, them burn out the meat. Where people say Haile Selassie, I see Nile. When they see say him a treat the dirt like a child. Peace peace on earth from the banks of the Nile. That's why we giving thanks in style. See say Babylon a weapon, them a stockpile. Babylon a wicked, kill them brother and smile. Lion, Babylon a reptile. Them a plan for shed blood, we got plans for the soil. Them a plan for war, we a plan for peace. And now we see them wanna go dismantle the base. When the trumpet sound and the violence cease, how we say one go build up the cities. Well, them a plan for war, we a plan for peace. And now we see them wanna go dismantle the base. Rastafari crown as the Prince of Peace. Him tell the youths them fi build up them countries. No more gullies, proper sanitation. Proper toilets with proper filtration. Clean water for the youths them fi use. Our sons and daughters safe, no more child abuse. Africa arise, read it in the news. On the day when Rastafari ready, wicked have to move. 3D printing alongside hem shoes. Herb get legalized, hard drugs them get refused. Well, people used to say they bring him man senile. True himself he tried it with man, woman and child. Himself peace on earth from the banks of the Nile. That's why we giving thanks in style. She say Babylon a weapon, them a stockpile. Babylon a wicked, kill them brother and smile. Lion, Babylon a reptile. Them a plans for shed blood, we have plans for the soil.